All right, we're live again for another episode of Inside the Mind of. And we're right now it's episode number 61. It's been a couple of like months to a year na rin before we recorded another episode. And very ang daming pwedeng mangyari ngayong season na to. So this is season 2 of Inside the Mind of. Hinto ko muna si self-talk, focus muna ako dito. The vision right now
Okay.
for Inside the Mind is NLP series. So I want to deep dive with Neuro-Linguistic Programming and the best coaches I know, the best mentors I know in the field. And here right now is one of my mentors. I learned from him when I started studying neuro-linguistic programming. I learned from this guy. And he's gonna share a lot of things in regards to ano yung topic natin dyan, how to develop Kapal Muks. So let's start with that question, John. So how do we develop Kapal Muks, yung kapal ng mukha? Yeah.
Um, okay. Before I go there, NLP is basically a software of
Mm.
the mind. It's a software for your brain. And there are a lot of self-help modalities, but they don't really know, or there's no instruction manual on what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So people go through different self-help techniques and doesn't work. Well, they get inspired, they take some action, but for a lot they get stuck. Now, NLP, it's a little bit different. Now, when I say software, if you look at a computer program, it's zeros and ones
Mm.
when they write the program. Now, in NLP, it's submodalities. It's what you see, what you hear, and what you feel. All of us, we make internal pictures or internal sounds, and also feelings.
Mm.
Uh, if you could rearrange that, if you know how, through NLP, you could change a lot of your personal issues. Actually, it could basically change your life. Our brain uh, codes information through feelings, sound, smell, taste, uh, in pictures. And what it does is it puts it in different location, and how you manipulate it, how you change the color, how you change the sound, the tonality could affect whatever issues you're going through.
Okay.
Uh, I can't explain all of that through a short podcast, but on the subject of Kapal Muks, one thing I've noticed, and not only here in the Philippines, but also Philams in
Mhm.
the US, is the number one barrier towards goals in business or whatever they're going after. I think it's the highest is fear of rejection.
Okay. Okay.
It's part of our culture. It really ingrained. Nakakahiya.
Mhm.
Wag kang mapahiya. Uh, or what's the other one? You're imposing. You're don't nakakaistorbo ka.
Yeah, yun. Isang factor yun. Yung parang, ay, hindi
Yeah.
na lang. Baka maistorbo ko siya eh.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
that's a
exactly.
big assumption. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And for example, if they do business, if you're going after your dreams and goals, you
Mm.
make a contact, you talk to someone, and they don't respond, they don't follow up anymore. Nakakahiya. I already told them. But what you don't realize is all of us have our own projects and issues, and they've probably forgotten what you just, what you've talked about. So they don't call you because they have other things to do. And most Filipinos will not follow up. I think it's one of the weakest uh, uh, traits that we have. Uh, Maybe they'll try once, but the third time, no more. I already told them
Mm-hmm.
it's like that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you develop Kapal Muks? Uh, there's a couple. I think we should do that in one of our NLP
NLP
cafe.
Cafe, you
So
know,
yeah, we could
experience
do that.
talaga. We could do a,
Yeah, yeah. Instead of a lecture. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, one I posted it on my Facebook. One is it doesn't involve NLP, but one of the quick one is get yourself a insult partner.
Talagang mag-aasaran lang kayo all throughout, no?
Yeah, yeah. You just insult each other, and you pick the you pick a subject that really hurts. Then you go back and forth. And in NLP, there's a pattern called threshold.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What happens is you hear something over and over, and it gets to the point where something in your brain just clicks and says, "No more. I don't believe this shit anymore." You can do that. So and by doing the insult partner, you get over it. Now, the fear of rejection is contextual, meaning it doesn't apply to everything. I remember one guy when I was doing my NLP training in well, my master practitioner in the 90s, early 90s, was uh, he was a military guy, special forces.
Mm-hmm.
He can jump on airplane in the dark, no lights, parachute, and do the mission. But he's terrified of approaching women.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Those are
I
two
mean, he was.
different things, right? Yeah, those are two
Yeah,
different things. Yeah.
yeah. So it's a fear of rejection. Uh, and that guy was he was already a civilian, and he's in the corporate world, and he was a top sales guy.
Mm-hmm.
He can sell anyone, but approaching women, forget it. And there are also other guys like Pua, pickup artists that can approach women easily, but they're terrified of selling. Can't sell shit. So it's contextual.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Uh, there are people that can sell to strangers,
Mm-hmm.
but they can't sell their own family. They're afraid to approach their family. They're embarrassed or something like that.
I see that a lot here, John. I see
Yeah.
that a lot here with different
Yeah.
industries that we've worked with and people who go
Yeah.
to our events. I think very
Yeah.
prominent. Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of that, what happens is it's all internal. For most, it's internal dialogue. There's an internal voice that will say, "Don't do that. Nakakahiya. Yeah, it's embarrassing." You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, or if not, it's a feeling and things like that. There's also a NLP pattern. If we do the NLP Cafe, I'll probably do it. It's called responding to criticism.
Susulat ko na yan para hindi natin makalimutan.
Okay.
Oo.
It's a technique where you respond to criticism way ahead of time.
Pero sige, let's go deeper with that. Since we're talking about criticism right now. What makes it criticism? Because how I see it ngayon kasi John, parang there's a big difference with criticism and feedback eh. I do think it could be played with perception how you see it eh. Because
Yeah,
with what we know with NLP, well, criticism could be instantly reframed to feedback.
yeah,
Criticism has probably more emotions connected to it and ego rather than when you just allow it, you let go, or you could shift it to something that learning mode ka, it could easily, not affect you that much because now it's reframed to feedback, right?
yeah. It again, it depends. It's all in context. For example, I cook sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and when I cook for myself. I don't cook for others. So if I cook, if they don't like it, they said ang pait or pangit lasa, matamis, maalat. I don't give a shit. I like it.
Oo,
So
tama.
I don't care.
Oo, niluto ko 'to, eh. Ito yung gusto ko,
Yeah.
eh. Kung pangit,
But
alam
for
kong
other
pangit din lasa nun, yeah.
but for other issues, I might take it. I might get offended. Like
Hmm.
well, all of us gets old, and I mean, just part of life. Say if they
Yeah.
say, "Oh, I think your hair is thinning. You're gonna go bald." I'm like, "Oh shit," you know.
Okay, okay, may
I take that
context.
as like, "Oh shit, I better find a miracle to grow my hair or something."
Mhm.
So it's in different contexts. For other
Hmm.
people, they'll say, well, I think women. This is more for women. They'll say, "You're getting fat." They'll get
Hmm.
offended.
I think isa sa mga factors dito diyan is if you get to ano, eh, parang what's important for you, eh. Kumbaga,
Yeah,
if it's important for you, mas malaki yung chance that it becomes like criticism, right?
yeah. Again, a lot of criticism. We all have hierarchy of values.
Yeah.
So if it hits one of your values that's high, that you would really get offended.
Mm.
And when you check your value is, for example, on your appearance. So let's just pick an appearance. What's important to you in the way in how you look or how you come across to the public? What's important to you? For
Mm.
some people, it's more my hair, my clothes. So they want to look good in front of people. So if you tell them, pangit yung damit mo or your clothes are ugly, they would get offended. It would hurt their
Mhm.
feelings. For some, they would even go home and change.
I know a lot of people that would do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah.
some people are obsessed with brand names because they want to come across as someone. So Louis
Authority.
Vuitton, things
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Mhm.
Or if even if they
Luxury.
wear Louis Vuitton, you tell them, I think that's 2 years ago. They'll go home and change. You hurt their
Oh.
feelings. Yeah. Or
I
you're. But for some, if for me, I don't really care for brand names. So if you tell me, you look like your clothes are old, I said, yeah, but I like it.
kasi values mo is more centered with comfort. Tama,
Yeah,
kaya yung connected with what you said earlier, it really depends with the
yeah,
hierarchy of values that you have for yourself.
yes, yes. When-
Yeah.
For example, when I pick my clothes, I'll pick the one on the top.
Ako
When you,
well, yun na yun, eh. I mean, or I
yeah,
already set a specific brand for myself. Kumbaga, puro black na t-shirt. I mean, pare-pareho lang yun, eh. At
yeah,
saka yun nandun sa harap, eh. So, yeah.
yeah,
Makes sense
exactly.
naman.
But yeah, so again, okay, on this, I know if there are people listening or will listen later on this podcast.
There are
Um,
15 to 25 people right now listening, John. Yeah.
okay, if they cannot attend the NLP Cafe, one technique I could give them
Mm-hmm.
really quickly to develop Kapal Muka is to visualize getting rejected over and over, repeat until the feeling dissipates or disappear. Like for example,
Okay.
if
Hello? Ayan, naputol. Naputol. Oh, wait lang natin si John. Naputol, naputol yung internet niya. So, as he was saying, yung repetition ng ano, ng rejection, you have to run it in your head. So if you're,
yeah,
for
oh
example,
yeah,
ayan, John, yeah, naputol. Internet got choppy on your end. Yeah,
Oh, okay,
a
okay.
bit. So you could
Yeah.
repeat it again.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Sige.
from the top,
From the
right?
top. Okay. Um, okay. If you want to develop Kapal Muks, here's what you can do. For those who cannot go to NLP Cafe, uh, this one is an easy one. You can do it on your own. Um, Pick someone that you really want approval from. Just imagine that person, and then you get rejected by that person over and over and over and over until the feeling dissipates or
Mm-hmm.
disappear,
Mm-hmm.
and then you repeat it again over and over. And when you're done with that person, pick another one. Uh, your unconscious mind doesn't realize what's real and what's unreal.
Yeah.
It will respond to whatever imagery you get. I mean, a lot of the stuff that we imagine is not real, that are scaring the shit out of us.
Yeah.
It's just your imagination. So you just use what your brain is already good at doing it. I mean, for example, if you're a corporate worker, you're unhappy with y- your income, and then you try to get into a side business, your brain will start scaring you on approaching a new customer. So it already knows what to do. So just just do it this way. At least your brain knows what to do. It's good at it anyway. So just feed it the opposite of exactly what you're doing now, or the same, until repetition makes it. Again, you'll hit that threshold where you don't care, like no more.
Yeah,
Okay.
I could share probably one thing that I've experienced before. As I worked in the BPO, and it was really scary for me to have my, the first call that I'd have to do. Oh, of course, I'll be talking to foreigners, and it really scared the shit out of me. Pero alam mo yun, as I did what you said, yung even way back, yung mental training, and
Yeah.
even though I'm scared, I have to do it. Eh. So, do you have any tips, John, to really push them to do it? Do they have to
Uh,
really like want it to get to a point na magagawa na nila yan?
okay. Whatever it is that they're scared of doing, what I want them to do is visualize what it is that they're doing, picture it,
Okay.
and watch them do it. And then watch yourself being scared and fail. Then watch themselves get up and do it again and again. So they see it. So that's one. You see yourself failing
Mhm.
over and over until to the point where you don't care anymore. So in NLP, that's like um, uh, what do you call it? Third position. You're observer. You're observing yourself.
Observer mode. Yeah.
So after that's done, what you can do is you go first position. Meaning you go through the rejection, uh,
As you
looking at it
looking, ikaw yun.
as
Ikaw.
experiencing it
Yeah.
firsthand,
Mhm.
and then you over and over and over until you don't care, and then until you succeed. The reason you said it that way is as an observer, it's not as emotional because you're not in it. You're watching, so you just watch yourself. Here's the thing: when we were kids, we don't mind failing.
Mhm.
I think until we go to school. But prior to going to kindergarten or elementary school, kids fail. They fall down. They just mess up, but they don't care. They just get up. But then, as soon as we start school, every time you make a mistake, you get yelled at. So as we become adults, we don't like to make mistakes. We want to do try once and it should be perfect. But uh, the real world doesn't work that way. Okay. So
Malaking
if you've never let's say uh, you want to start your own business,
mm.
so you can make extra money, your first client's not going to say yes. They're going to say no. I'll think about it. and then you have to move on to the next one, until
You
you
get
know
to find
you develop the skill. Same thing when you were a
mhm.
kid. I remember when I was a kid, I tried to climb a tree and I fell down.
Mm,
I lost my breath. I can still remember. And then after that, I climbed back again on the tree until I'm pretty good at it, like a monkey.
yeah.
But as an adult, if I learn to climb a tree as an adult and I fell, I'll probably won't do it again. I quit. Okay. A lot,
Okay.
lot of that started at school. I mean, your teacher or teachers yell at us when we fail in school. You know.
Laking programming diyan, no?
Yeah.
Lalo
Yeah.
na
Yeah.
when you become self-aware as a hindi young adult eh, young. I mean, programming
Yeah.
stage,
Yeah.
mga 7 years
Yeah.
old, nakikita, kasi before 7, usually, ang programming mo lang is family, parents, kapatid, kamag-anak. Pero as you go to school na, siguro mga 4 years old, 5, pag naging medyo
Yeah.
aware na yung bata, ang
Yeah.
laking factor na nung classmates, you become self-aware, pag inasar ka, pag
Yeah.
tumahay ka sa puwet, di ba? Tumahay ka sa
Yeah.
upuan mo. Wala, sira na
Most
yung buhay mo.
most kids probably heard the word "you're a failure" in school, or "you're a loser." That's where they pick up that belief. So there's a lot of deprogramming. If For a lot of people that I've worked with,
Mm,
deep issue and deep trauma, I've over and over, especially very core issues, goes back to their elementary school.
I think, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. They get beat up, they get insulted by classmates, teachers, things like that. So that's another story.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Pero
But
John,
again,
yeah, sige, tuloy mo lang. Yeah, what you were
again,
saying.
for those who are listening in this podcast, one, uh, repeat, if you want to develop thick skin, uh, is the first one I said. Pick someone that you really need approval from, and have that person reject you over and over and over and over until you don't give a shit anymore. So that's one. The second one is, um, in business. If you're trying to start your own business, part of that is you have to prospect, you have to sell, you have to talk to people,
Mhm.
convince them. So the first one is, imagine yourself doing it, so it's not as emotional. Keep a distance and watch yourself fail. Don't watch yourself succeed first, because that's if you do it that way, that's more like delusional. It never works that way. So watch yourself fail and fail and fail, and then eventually, you don't care about, because if you keep doing something, you'll succeed. You learn from your mistakes, and then when that's done, watching, then you go through, looking at it through your eyes, like you see the rejection, the person, and then you fail, and then eventually you know what to do, then you succeed. Things like that.
Mhm. Okay. Pero John, siguro quick lang, no? I think as you've shared these techniques, could you share us a bit about your background? Diba? So how did
Background.
you
Okay.
yeah, tell us more about how you became who you are today, and how you discovered neuro-linguistic programming.
Okay. Uh, Background. I had a business in the U.S. in the 80s,
Mm.
and I started making good money. But at that time, what happened was, people who had money, um, so your circle of friends were all into drinking, drugs, and bad stuff.
Okay.
So I got into that, so that I need to change. So I went through a period of, looking for self-development. You name it. I read it, I tried it, but I was frustrated because there was no instruction. It was more like inspirational, motivational,
Madami pa rin
and
ganun
things
ngayon.
like that. Yeah. it's very inspiring. The only thing I love about it is it gets you to do something, action.
Mm.
And then I happened to read a book about NLP, uh, and then there was some set of like instruction. It was a book about investing, and the guy was he became one of my trainers. Uh, he was working with traders who trade like 100 200 million dollars a day, and how they make a decision.
Okay.
What do they do before they make a trade of like 50 100 million dollars in their head? How
Mhm.
do they decide? So there was an NLP technique that he was able to pull out. So that caught my interest, and then I discovered Tony Robbins, and Tony uh, was doing NLP. He named it different. He called it NAC instead of NLP, neuro something conditioning. That's his own version. Tony never took the master practitioner. One thing Tony was very good at was motivational in marketing. He was a genius. So actually, Tony was responsible for making NLP famous, or got curious, because he talked about it a lot on his early days.
Mm.
Um, Tony would go into radio stations all over Canada and the US, and he would say, he would challenge psychiatrists and say, send me your clients that you can't fix.
Na ayaw mo na hindi mo na kaya. You said, ako na.
Yeah, yeah, I'll do it. And he did, and but he was tricky because he would prefer the phobia.
Uy, naputol ulit. So yan, habang inaantay ulit natin si John, welcome sa Inside the Mind episode number 61 if you're just tuning in. And the topic today is about how to develop Kapal Muks. John has shared two techniques already. Pwede nyo naman panoorin ulit mamaya sa replay. Pero mamaya recap din natin. So visualization was one, and yung second technique was yung perspective change. So you see it through third person, then you see it through first person. Yeah. Ayan, John. Welcome back.
Oh, okay.
Ayan, naputol,
Yeah, I
naputol.
switched to my data, my phone data, the home. I have what, Globe?
Yeah, globe.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's even
on and
PLDT,
off.
sometimes it's on and off. Yeah, it
Yeah, it's
depends on
frustrating.
the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah, going back.
uh, so that was Tony, and then anyway, so I got my training, my practitioner training. There was about 9 instructors. Steve Andreas, Canary Andreas,
Mm.
Tim Halbum. I mean, there was a lot. Robert Dilts. So I learned a lot, and then on master practitioner, I took like 2 years from practitioner to master, because I wanted to try all the techniques. So what I would do before, what separated me from my the people
Classmates.
I trained with
Mm.
was, on a daily basis, I was obsessed when I wake up, I would say, who can I victimize today? So I would pick like a technique or a pattern,
Okay.
and then I would just go on the street and say, do you have a problem? You want to try this? So I did that for like
Okay.
2 years.
Okay.
So some of the techniques that you learn from practitioner training, I had a goal of repeating it at least 50 times, the quickest time. So I did that for 2 years, and then so master practitioner was easy for me.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, before you get certified, you had to do a sort of like a thesis.
Mm.
And if you fail, you don't get certified. That was back then. So it's changed a lot now.
It changed a
Um,
lot. Yeah.
yeah. The thing with NLP back then was uh, a lot of trainers like different segments of NLP. So a lot of my trainers they were teaching their favorite, the segments that they like. For example, Charles Faulkner loved what do you call it? He loved strategies, how you make decisions,
Okay.
so to decide what do you do as the sequencing. So he was the guy who studied the investors in Wall Street and also in Chicago.
Okay.
Um, what do you call it? Robert McDonald was into spiritual NLP.
Okay.
He found to him NLP was too mechanical, so he wanted to put spirituality to it. So that was his thing. So, and then Steve Andreas wanted to do therapy into NLP. So things like that. And then there was another guy. He loved linguistic, so that was his focus. It's really, really difficult to teach NLP one person. That's why I resisted teaching it here in the Philippines,
Mm.
because I have my favorite and I would neglect all the other aspects of it. So
Okay.
even Bandler cannot teach NLP now, the whole thing. It's too broad. Even Grinder, he needs other, because both of those two have forgotten segments or they haven't used a lot of it
Anymore.
anymore.
I
Yeah,
agree. And those two have already, as in magkaiba sila ng process.
yeah,
They really branched off from what they were teaching years ago.
yeah,
And
yeah,
they already have branded themselves with like process and just linguistics. Diba? Magkaiba eh.
yeah,
Magkaiba eh. Yeah.
yeah. My trainers were basically the first generation of trainers that Bandler and Grinder trained.
Mm.
What they did was they would go into Santa Cruz Mountains and the thing they would have this group of people and then they would experiment on them. So these people were like really,
Guinea
there was
pigs.
no rules, especially with Bandler. Bandler didn't give a shit. They just experimented on your brain, on your head, and then they would drive down the mountains because Santa Cruz is up in the mountain. It's a very curvy road. So on the
Mm.
way home, they're like dizzy because some NLP process will make you dizzy.
Yeah. Question, John. Question.
Sure.
Uh, can you become a good NLP practitioner without understanding hypnosis? I think this is coming from a question that one student asked me before.
Can you
I
be a
have
good
an answer for it, but yeah, I'm asking you.
can you be a good NLP practitioner without hypnosis?
Without understanding hypnosis. Talagang NLP ka na nag-start.
Well, part of NLP was hypnosis. A lot of
Mm.
NLP came from Elton Merrickson.
Yeah, Milton. Yeah.
Milton, well, there are different hypnotists. You have stage hypnotist,
Mm.
the one that makes you jump like
Kak-
a chicken and
yeah. Kak, 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 kak,
things.
kak.
Yeah, things like that. And then you also have hypnotherapist,
Mm.
and then you have uh, what is that guy from England? What's his name?
I think I trained with
McKinnon.
him, si Paul McKenna. Oh.
Yeah,
Ito
that's
therapy,
another style.
therapy din siya. Honest therapy, naka-center lang siya ngayon therapy. Eh. I
Yeah, but
see
before
he
it was
made
more
a
like
lot of money with anxiety. So,
yeah, yeah. But if you want to study hypnosis, a lot of NLP languaging is from hypnosis.
yeah.
Uh, the foundation of NLP came from Milton Erickson, where a lot of people considered the world's greatest hypnotherapist,
Yeah.
not stage, but for therapy, hypnosis therapy. And then the other one was Virginia Satir. Virginia Satir was for parts. Like there's a part of us that wants to succeed. There's a part of us that wants uh, take care of our family. There's a part of us that protecting us from getting hurt or from getting embarrassed. That's Virginia Satir, and also family dynamics. That's Virginia Satir. And then after that, they branched out. They studied people that excelled in sports,
Hmm.
people that excelled in lawyer language, all those things. So that NLP is just basically a collection of techniques that uh, uh, talented people have. And uh, it's on the master practitioner training. It's called modeling. There's actually a technique how to pull out those techniques from other people.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Could you share a bit?
it's a lot of work. It's a lot of
Kung
work.
a bit lang, kunwari, in regards dun sa developing Kapal Muks, di ba? I
Yeah.
mean, I see that, well, I teach that a bit sa mga talks, lalo na pag mga short talks to um, map people. Yeah, sino ba yung mga Kapal Muks na nakikita mo dyan sa paligid mo?
Yeah.
Or who are the most confident people that you know?
Yeah.
Then you get to start the mapping process and the modeling process. So for you, John, I mean, if just a short technique or just a short process, I mean, is there any tips for modeling people that are in their vicinity that are already Kapal Muks? Uy, nawala. Nawala. Oh, wait ulit natin si John. Nawala. Hopefully nadinig naman niya yung sinabi ko eh. Pero wait lang natin. Napuputol kasi yung internet niya ngayon eh. Pero again, for those listening, mamaya pwede tayo mag Q&A. Kung meron kayong mga questions, you could drop the questions naman sa ating comment section dito sa Facebook. So episode number 61 na to, and marami pa akong nakaschedule na calls moving forward. So stay tuned lang palagi. Wait lang natin si John. Wala saan siya. Pero may questions ba kayo na gusto niyo itanong para at least pagbalik niya, pwede natin ano sa kanya. Oo. What happened? You can join again. I'm still online. Di ba siya maka-join? Nawala siya eh. Wait lang wait lang. Troubleshoot lang tayo. Pero sa connection, ano lang naman. Sana yan. Basta po siya sa Viber eh. Still online. Okay, pero yung tinatanong ko kasi sa kanya, since nabanggit na ni John naman yung sa modeling. Ayan, yan. Welcome back.
Oh, okay.
Welcome back, John. Yeah. Your
I don't know if
camera's
that was
off.
my. Oh,
Baka
okay.
na, yeah, that's all camera.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah. There you go. There
Okay.
you go. Yeah. We're back. So yun,
Okay.
the question I had earlier was any tips for modeling? Kahit short lang. Yeah.
Okay. Short one. Okay. Okay. There was this one guy. It was the best modeling I saw. He had NLP background also, but he had black belts on karate, judo, all of that,
Mm.
taekwondo. And what he did was he would buy the for school in the U.S. that teaches martial arts. Part of their side job, I guess, is to sell their DVDs.
Mm.
For example, taekwondo, karate, judo, aikido, things like that. So what he did, he would buy their DVD video, and then he would watch the movements, right?
Mm.
And after watching the movement on the TV, what he would do is he would visualize himself doing it in his mind. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, he would get a mirror and then he would do the movements again. So he sees himself doing it in his mind,
Mm-hmm.
and then he would do it, and then he would watch it in the mirror, and then he would watch the video again. So he kept repeating that until he gets refined. And then when he's done, he would go to the school and challenge if he can get a black belt by doing the movements.
By doing the movements. Yeah.
Yes.
So medyo
So
subconscious, no, John?
yeah,
By repetition, by looking at the
yes,
mirror, application,
yes,
process siya eh. Process siya.
yes. Okay, I forgot one more step. And then what he would do is he would also get a video camera and record himself
Okay.
doing it. So it's 3 steps or 4 steps. So that's one way to model.
Okay.
That's on martial arts. Now, uh, the best way to do it is here's okay, in selling, there's not really much. If you can find on the internet or YouTube an actual sales process, like especially the most difficult thing in business or sale is looking for clients, prospect.
Mm.
If you can find someone actually doing prospecting, is try to mimic the person. Just mimic it. Yeah, and then
Intonation,
after, yeah,
tonality, body
yeah, watch
language.
him,
Yeah.
and then watch yourself in the mirror, and then video yourself, and then compare it again. Those three.
I
Yeah.
did that when I was starting to be a trainer. John,
Yes.
watching recording through cell phone,
Yes.
especially how I sound was very very
Yes.
important. How my what my body language
Yeah.
would how it comes out. It's
Yeah.
it's it's
It's
it's
it's it's really a big difference, especially if you video yourself doing something and then you watch it. You could learn a lot. Like, oh, okay,
yeah.
because
Wag
we
lang
do a lot of
scandal
things
no,
on
Jan. Wag lang scandal yung i-record.
oh,
Oo.
OnlyFans.
Okay lang. Depende kung i-record niya, eh.
Then you know the men OnlyFans are not making any money.
Oo, wala magbabayad.
No,
Wala masyadong
nobody.
magbabayad.
Yeah, I don't think women buys OnlyFans men.
Ah,
Yeah, so
script.
yeah, but anyway, so yeah, that would be one way to model. The only thing is that that's an external modeling. The
Mhm.
internal part, like the feelings, the belief conflicts
Hmm,
will not be resolved, but it will eventually be minimized if you keep practicing.
okey, okey.
Yeah.
Malaking
Because
part
once
yung
you
repetition.
practice a certain skill over and over, even though you don't really believe yourself, it gives you confidence. Because at least you know what to do.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. I remember a quote that I saw in one write-up before. It said that confidence or courage comes from repetition and acknowledgement of what you've done.
Yeah.
So,
You know what to do.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah.
That's another
Agree.
thing too. A lot of people, any business whatsoever, you need to learn. You need to persuade people. There's no way around it. If you don't know how to persuade people, you're doomed for failure. So there, when I was learning coaching in the U.S., executive coaching, we used to partner people up,
Mhm.
and they would practice. Yeah, want to practice. You'll say, uh, "I have to tell my wife." When you're trying to close the sale, I
Mhm.
have to tell my wife, and most people don't know what to say.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Good luck.
okay, yeah,
Good
and
luck.
and and then yeah, you just drove 2 hours to get there to see him, and then that's what you get, and then you drive back home another 2 hours, so you wasted half a day,
Wasted
and you don't
money,
know what to
wasted
say.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you have to learn, you have to know how to answer that in five different ways. Yeah, I mean, if if that was me, I would just say, do you need permission from your wife for all the decisions that you make?
Are you a pussy? I mean, may yung isang approach, may asshole approach kasi parang yun
Yeah,
yun like what you said. Sa lahat ba ng desisyon mo dadaan sa asawa mo?
yeah.
Wala ka ba sariling
I
desisyon?
yeah, I almost end up buying a motorcycle because of that answer. I was looking at some big bikes,
Mhm.
and then I said, "Oh, I have to talk to my wife." And the salesman goes, "Do you need approval from your wife for things that you want in your life?"
Boom.
I go, "Oh shit."
Ego hit eh.
Yeah.
Sa full
So
eh.
I was so close to buying a big bikes, but
Nasampal ka ng,
yeah.
wait. Huli,
So I
alam
had
ko
to
to.
fake it. Yeah.
Alam
So
ko to.
things like that. Yeah, yeah. it's too expensive. I mean, if you don't know what to say, it's over.
Well,
I'll think about it.
I love
Yeah,
what you said earlier that to if it would be very very nice to have like five different replies to that, so
yeah,
that it really depends on the situation. You could
yeah,
if you know five, at least you're not stuck with one,
yeah.
right? Yung law of requisite variety ng ano yan eh, NLP rin, di ba?
Yes, yes.
If you have more options, you
People have like automatic. It's an auto response. They will object right away. It's just automatic. No one's gonna say, you make a proposal and they'll say yes, I want it now.
mm,
I've never seen that. There's always initial objection, then you have to entertain it, and then if you know what to do and what to say. But for example, for me, I want to buy something,
mm,
and then I have some questions, and then the sales guy give up, and I'm like, shit, why did he give up? I'm ready to buy. I just have some inquiry. I wasn't sure, and then the sales guy quit right away. Things like that. So um, you might most people quit before. Usually they run some numbers in the US. Sales happen after five objections, 90%.
okay.
Sometimes in the Philippines, I think you don't have to go to five. I think if you're able to deal with two or three objections, it's done. It's done. But before you get there, I mean, I mean that there's another NLP technique called rapport. You have to build rapport.
Okay.
Yeah. If you don't build rapport, forget it. First, they won't trust you, even though they want it. But if they don't trust you or don't believe in you, then voila.
Any tips, John? I think before I go to our last two questions, siguro, are
Okay.
there tips for rapport? I mean, there are lots of people in sales and even in the communities that I roam with sa mga freelancing that need to close deals eh. And they most of the problems that I hear are centered with it's hard for me to build rapport, Coach Ken, and ganyan, ganyan, ganyan. But for you, John, I mean, do you have any specific tips with regards to NLP on how they could like build
Okay.
rapport, deep rapport?
On rapport, again, it's practice. When I was learning rapport in the past, when I walk around the mall, I won't get too close, but I would target someone a little bit distance, and I would mimic the way they walk.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is if you keep doing that, it's automatic that when you see a client, you automatically mimic their posture, the way they move to get into rapport.
Okay. So
But
more
if you
on the
don't
mirroring,
practice,
mirroring.
yeah, it's mirroring, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you don't practice and you mirror right away, I mean your client, they'll notice like, what the hell are you doing? You're trying to copy everything I do. But if you practice,
Okay.
you could mirror it without them knowing. And then in a way, when you mirror them, you get a sense of how they feel. You
Okay.
sense it, like if they're in a good mood or in a bad mood, things like that. But the best way to get into rapport with someone, it's a little bit difficult. It takes time. Is if you can mirror their breathing.
Ito challenge na 'to, eh,
Yeah.
because I think important na dito yung sa pag-build na ng acuity diyan, eh, 'no? To
Yeah.
notice like, most people hindi mo napapansin yung breathing, eh, pero there are some people na madali kong
Yeah.
sabayan because most of their breathing upper, eh, upper part
Yeah.
ng body hindi sa tiyan, eh. 'Pag sa tiyan kasi awkward titingin ka pa sa tiyan
Yeah.
para tingnan, 'di ba? Eh, paano kung wala siyang tiyan? So, sa shoulders ka lang parang,
Yeah. But if you keep doing it, you'll see it. It'll give. There's hints. Again,
okay.
it's repetition. Yeah. The more you do it, then again, the problem with people in developing skills is that they will do something, but the space in between takes too long. Like
Hmm,
you'll do one skill, practice it, 2 weeks, 3 weeks pass, then you'll do it again. You'll do it again. So the gaps are too far apart for you to develop the skill. But if you do it daily, at least 50 times straight,
Mm.
then it becomes a skill fast.
Yun yung
Like for
maganda.
example, people who get into MLM. LMS is popular in the Philippines.
Mm.
If you could practice your presentation in 30 days 100 times, that would put you ahead of everybody. You could say your presentation forward, backwards, handle rejection. You don't get nervous,
Yeah.
but it's yeah, you have to do it. I mean, 100 times is the perfect in the shortest amount of time for anything, for a presentation. Even surgeons, if they could do 100 surgery in like 30 days, they'd be so skilled.
Yeah, kaya there was this intriguing question before. I mean, it has been thrown around. Probably it was thrown around sa mga discussions natin before. It was like, eto tricky question to dyan, ah. You can answer it
Okay.
or you can
Okay,
opt
go ahead.
to not answer it. It's fine. Ang question is, if would you trust an 18-year-old life coach?
Would I trust an 18-year-old?
Life coach.
If the advice is about life and struggles in finance from an 18-year-old, he would have credibility issues. That's the problem. The challenge is always credibility issue.
Hmm.
Because at 18, there's not. I'm being truthful. If he is coaching 20-year-olds, that's okay. They'll probably take him seriously.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's coaching someone, an executive at age 40 and up that manages a company or owns a company, uh, he would have a difficulty
Okay.
because again, life experience is not there.
Uh,
That's why
uh,
I suggest to young people, especially if they look really young,
mm.
is to put some what do you call it on their hair, some gray hairs.
Gray hairs, pomada. Ako, dati nagpalaki pa ako ng tiyan talaga
No,
eh.
yeah, yeah, to make them look like a little bit older.
Ginugol
'Cause,
ko yun dati dyan eh. Ginugol ko
yeah,
yun dati. You saw me when I was starting, right? I was so
yeah,
thin.
yeah,
I was so
yeah.
thin. No one would take me seriously because of how I look. I could present, I could talk, but how I look,
You look so young.
did not match. It did not
Yeah,
match talaga eh.
yeah.
So,
I mean, when we meet someone, we make judgment in about 3 to 4 seconds.
yun. Yeah, even less. Yeah.
Yeah, and then once the judgment is set, it's very difficult to change. You have to prove yourself. So if you're young, grow a mustache or something. Just make yourself look a little bit older. Uh, wear clothes that older people wear, successful older people wear.
Yeah. Uh,
You know.
you know why I asked the question, John? Why
Yes.
it popped in my
Go ahead.
mind. The reason why I asked this question was with what you said earlier. Repetition. Because this was sent when I got asked this question, I answered the same thing, John. Uh, yung authority yung importante. I mean,
Yes.
pero as I was digging deep with that question, ang nakita ko doon was what you said earlier. If the person even at 17, 15 spent more years to experience to do those talks and talagang effort to deliver and study what's needed for the questions or the main problems nung lumapit sa kanya, he could answer those questions really well. Really well.
Yeah.
Uh, ang sinabi ko lang din was, nakadepende yun dun sa context nga eh. It would be really, really hard if the person that they are coaching are in their immediate circle. You know how that works, diba? Immediate family,
Yeah.
magpa-coach sa'yo. May previous preconception eh. They might see you as still the baby or still the kid, diba? Ang hirap paniwalaan. And yung
Yeah.
mga, but I like the answer that you said, like if mga 20, malapit na age, malaki yung chance that they would still listen. And lalo na kung
Yes, yes,
meron ka nang na-establish na proof that for example, you own your company even at the young age of 18, you became a multi-millionaire. I mean, age would not matter anymore because you already have a proof of concept, right?
yes.
So yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
let me give example. For example, when I do like for example now it's political season. I've been
Mm.
involved in like four national election, three presidential election, and when we do the meetings, everyone is like late 40s and up.
Mm.
All the guys have gray hairs or some gray hairs. The young guys are all assistant. It's
Okay.
just the way it is. Now, if you're a young guy, you do some presentation there, they're not going to take you seriously. It's just the way it is.
Just the
Uh,
way it is.
but everyone is like older, self-made, deadly.
Pwede, pwede. Basta
Yeah,
disclose what you can lang. I mean, this is a
yeah,
public kasi dyan. So,
yeah, yeah,
political
yeah,
season, enjoy,
yeah,
enjoy.
yeah,
Busy ka, alam
yeah.
ko.
So
I know you're busy.
yeah,
Pero, sige John, last question na lang. Last
sure, go ahead.
question. Siguro, pwede ba last two? Okay lang, short questions lang naman eh.
Sure,
Last
sure,
two
go ahead.
questions, okay. Second to the last question is, with all your experience with neuro-linguistic programming and coaching, I mean, you have decades of experience with it. Um, what's probably the best like technique or process for NLP that you could say that na if a person knew this process or this technique, they could already change a life.
Okay. In the Philippines, I think the best way is uh, most Filipinos are auditory, self-talk.
Mm-hmm,
They hear
mm-hmm,
voice.
mm-hmm,
You're not good enough. You're stupid, or things like that.
mm-hmm.
So just listen to the voice, and if you hear it on this side or right side, move it to the left. Just move location.
Location.
It minimizes the sting of the criticism. Okay. Now for uh, people that visualize,
Mm,
again, some people, uh, I'm a nobody, and if they see an image of themselves in a certain location, like for example, I'm a nobody, it's on this side, on the front upper right, all they have to do is push it far away until it becomes irrelevant. Push it until it gets smaller and smaller. Again, that's the software of our brain is submodalities. That
mm.
would be the best way without having to go through what did your mother did to you or your father or all
Eh,
that bullshit.
mahabang proseso yun eh. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I agree.
yeah, yeah. So
Mm,
just do this one. Push the image far away, or if you hear on this side, move it here or push it far away so it doesn't bother you.
yeah,
Actually, most people
yeah, go,
most
go.
people are not aware that there's a constant talking that or chatter in their head they're listening to. For some of your listener, if they pay attention, they'll be surprised for the first time in their life. Like, oh, for some people, there's a voice that tell them, okay, go there, go left. Oh, that's not good. Don't eat that one. Pick that one.
Mm,
Constantly,
mm.
all day long until they go to sleep. Others, naman is making pictures all day long. We're basically like a horse that's being led to with the chain,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and at the end of the chain is either your voice or your imagery pulling you around here and there, left, right, whatever.
So, kaya ang laking factor if people get to understand how to work with it,
Yeah,
it could drastically change like the way you could where you put your attention to or
yeah,
the way you make decisions in life,
yeah.
right?
For some people, it's even sad because the voice that's leading them around
Mm.
it's not even their voice. It's a voice of someone they don't like. That happens too. So you're being led around by somebody you don't like unconsciously. You're not even aware of it, which is sad. And most people don't know that, and even after they're dead already, so they've lived a life being led around by somebody they don't like unconsciously without them being aware of it.
Hassle.
That sucks.
Hassle, no, that sucks, that sucks, that sucks. Pero sige, thank you. Thank you for that,
Okay,
John. And
yeah,
siguro
no problem.
last question ko, John, before we go. Um, there are a lot of people who are, yeah, newly introduced to what we know now as neuro-linguistic programming. Um, could you like share some like nuggets of wisdom, like a message for them? What if you were to ano yung pwede mo sabihin sa kanila to learn
Uh,
more, or if they're curious, where should they
uh,
start? Ano ba? Yeah.
it, it's this is what Bandler said when he was developing NLP with Grinder. He's saying your brain is like a bus. Who's driving it? You or somebody else? So if you learn basic NLP, you'll be the driver of your brain instead of someone you don't know, or it's you, but you're not aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because basically, I mean, every day when we wake up, we go through the same routine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then you know, uh, it gives you control basically. So uh, there, what book was I forgot? Bandler wrote Bandler and Grinder. Who's riding the bus or your brain or something? I forgot. But it's a very old book. It was uh, transcribed or written by Steve Andreas,
Mm.
but the content was a seminar that was done by Bandler and Grinder. Um, I forgot the title.
Marami,
Some
magic, parang structure of
No, no,
magic
those
ba?
are the recent ones. Those are the recent ones he did. The old ones, I prefer the old books that was written in the 80s.
Teka. Binder.
Uh, it's not using your brain for a change. Not that one. There's another one.
Frogs into Princess, Structure of Magic, Persuasion Engineering, 1979, 1984, earlier.
Who who's riding your brain or something.
Ang kay Bandler, yun lang earlier niya, Frogs into Princess. Tapos ano na, 1981, Transformations and
Okay.
Using Your Brain for a Change. Meron siya, 1985.
Try the frogs into princess.
I think yung Frogs into Princess yun eh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
1979. I think yun. Oh, yun. Sige, so
Yeah.
they could read that book. Ano naman, open
Yeah.
naman yun sa downloadable yung book na yun. Sa
Yeah.
yung
Oh,
ebook, downloadable siya, lahat.
yeah. The one that one is before they read that one, tell them to read NLP Demystified.
Ano ba to? Ito ba yung purple book? Wait lang. NLP Demystified. I think you recommended this a lot before.
Yeah.
Book. The Magic of NLP Demystified. Ito ba yun? By
Yeah. Yeah. By
Lewis.
Polichik or
Poselic. Kay Frank
yeah,
Poselic.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Frank Poselic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nagtutrain din to si Frank. Frank Poselic. Yeah.
Yeah. It's an easy read, not too complicated.
Okay.
There are a lot of NLP books, but a lot of them are bad. So
May bago, napakita ko ba sa yung bago diyan, yung huli, yung kay Bander, yung ano, legend, ano, master, ano yun? Richard Bandler book. Legacy of the Master. Yun yung pinakahuling book niya eh.
oh
I think
really? Oh
gumawa
okay.
na
No,
talaga siya
I
ng
have
legacy.
I haven't read that one.
2023 to. I think I brought it to one NLP cafe pero hindi ko lang talaga nilabas or hindi ko na yata hindi ko alam kung napakita ko sa iyo eh.
Okay.
But yeah. I bought it.
Yeah.
It's new. It's new pa sa Amazon.
Okay.
It's mga ano na niya. Mga I think mga
Uh,
parting words na niya eh.
okay. Don't read Grinder. You'll just it's too difficult.
Oh, hindi rin.
You'll get confused. Sorry, if there are Grinder uh certified, I won't recommend Grinder to learn from. But I respect what he did, what he created. Another one is what's his name again? The one that he wrote a lot of book but very confusing. What's his name? We even discussed it, you and I. Shit, forgot his name.
Teka lang, isipin ko muna.
Yeah,
Sino?
even you, me, and Strix made fun of it, I think, but primarily me. Um,
Ang dami natin
uh,
kasi pinag-usapan.
yeah,
Ano eh. But I think, teka lang ah. Ay, wag niyo tayo magbanggit ng names publicly. Oh, okay na.
yeah, yeah.
Okay na pala
But
yun.
anyway, well, I'm just
Okay.
I mean, I don't want people to get lost in a rabbit hole. So, but
Tama.
anyway, so
Agree.
yeah, that's it. But
Ay,
anyway, okay.
sige, ayun lang naman, John. And do you have anything to promote? Usually, guys, to the listeners, John started a movement, an advocacy here in the Philippines called the NLP Cafe. And I've been supporting it mula nung yung kinonceptualize niya. Palagi ako pupunta doon. That's where I basically practiced eh. It was really, really good. Kaya I think umabot din ako sa level kung nasan ako now because yun like what John said, there's a big difference with theory and concepts eh. When
Yeah,
you get to apply it and apply it and apply it, you get to practice talaga. That natitest mo kung ano yung dapat mong gawin, you could adapt and make specific changes to fit your personality and to fit your approach. So, John, would you want to invite them to some like NLP cafes in the future? Yeah.
yeah. Just set up the one for March and maybe end of March or something,
Sige.
or if not, early April.
April, siguro April tayo. At least
Yeah,
ma-maintain lang natin yung promise natin to everyone that we do it like once in 2 months. We make sure that meron. Kung every month,
sure.
kaya naman din. But again, it depends sa schedule. And we do it sa Alabang. So, yung mga taga-North, well, lumuwas na kayo, libre naman yun eh. Basta order lang kayo dun sa establishment. And again, it's an advocacy and John is really, he's really very, tinuturo niya lahat. Kung anong tanong niyo doon, you could ask any questions basta nandun naman available si John. So, yun lang, John. Thank you so much for your time and yun lang. Any message pa ba before you go?
Uh, no, that's it. I think we're
We're
good.
good. We're good.
Yeah.
Okay. So everyone
Okay.
listening right now, thank you so much again. This has been episode number 61. I think tama naman. 61 of Inside the Mind of. And my name is Ken Somera. Kita-kits sa next episode. NLP pa rin yung pag-uusapan natin on the next episode. Have a great night. John,
Okay.
thank you so much for your
Bye.
time. Have a great night. Bye-bye.